In the beginning of time, three god brothers defeated their titan father with the help of a sea monster called the Kraken. Afterwards the gods divided the universe among themselves, with Zeus taking the skies, Poseidon the seas, and Hades was left with the underworld. Zeus created mankind so that their prayers could empower the brothers and ensure their immortality going into the future. Many years later, after growing tired of it sinks to the bottom of the ocean, but Perseus is thrown overboard while his family are all trapped inside and perish when he's unable to reach them in time. The only survivor of the massacres found by soldiers and taken back to the city of Argos. Above them, Zeus is angered by the mortals' defiance and the recent downfall of prayers, leaving him feeling diminished. His brother Hades is pleased to finally see his sibling displaying rage for the first time in millennia, and requests to be unleashed on mankind to terrify them back into having faith. Despite Zeus's son Apollo's objections, Poseidon and Zeus allow Hades to unleash hell on earth, unaware that prayers out of fear and not love will only empower the god of the underworld. Below them, Perseus is brought before King Cepheus, who's celebrating his campaign against the gods and is loved by his consorts, all of who are ill-informed of the hardships outside of their walls and the looming danger closing in. Princess Andromeda shows the only compassion in the room and offers the slave a drink, but it's smacked away by General Draco. The worst of the bunch is Queen Cassiopeia, who throws her daughter under the bus when she compares her beauty to Aphrodite. When she claims that humans are now the gods, even Cepheus cringes as the god of the underworld arrives to dispute it. He instantly takes the lives of all Draco's men, but is surprised by the prisoner's resistance to his initial attack. The moment Hades identifies himself, the room drops. He shows how easy it is for him to take the queen's life and threatens a deal to unleash the Kraken on Argos, unless the people sacrifice their princess that they so easily compare to a god. He gives them until the upcoming solar eclipse to decide and leaves, revealing Perseus as a demigod, which almost gets him killed by Draco and his men, but the king begs the outsider to do what he can to save his daughter from death. Perseus refuses since he's just an untrained fisherman and gets thrown in the dungeon where he's visited by Io. She reveals that she was cursed with immortality after refusing Poseidon's advances, and has watched over Perseus his whole life as he's the one prophesied to defeat the Kraken. Once it's destroyed, Hades will be weak enough to defeat, and since he wants nothing more than to avenge the death of his family, the hero agrees. The king gives him a consort of guards to assist, either nearing retirement like General Solon, or rookies like Eusebios, who still prays to Zeus despite being mocked by the others. After a brief cameo by the clockwork owl built by Hephaestus, Perseus and the guards head off on their quest to discover a way to kill the Kraken. They're joined by the Ottoman monster hunters Azal and his brother Kukuk, who question if anyone else knows which head to cut off a five-headed hydra. The group travel to the mouth of the underworld, where the hunters refuse to follow but have made Perseus a shield from the scorpion's carapace to protect him. Everyone else is on board, including Sheik, but Zeus appears to Perseus for the first time and begs him not to go against his brother. When he sees that words won't sway him, Zeus gives his son a golden drachma, which is the fare they'll need to pay to reach the underworld. With everyone else unsure of how to enter, the djinn tosses the coin into the river Styx and the ferry appears from the fog, being dragged by lost souls. The ferryman Charon pulls up and they all sail through the underworld until departing at the entrance to Medusa's lair. She was a human cursed by a jealous god for her beauty and turned into a monster, and because of this Io must remain outside due to the curse preventing immortals from entering. The group explore the ruined temple to find this to chase down the Pegasus. The hero is able to get low enough to the ground to allow Azal and his brother to assist with their tame scorpion. During the intense aerial chase, one of the creatures snatches Medusa's head away from Perseus, but he retrieves it by leaping on top of the Fury and tanking but Perseus pushes his way through the cult of Hades and produces the head Medusa's face, and instantly goes blind before the curse slowly spreads to the rest of it, creating a massive statue blocking the harbor. Once solidified, Procopion attempts to sacrifice the princess himself with a javelin, but Cepheus stops him at the cost of his own life. Luckily, the Kraken collapses on top and be knocked unconscious. Before the hero can save her, Hades confronts Perseus and begins boasting about being unkillable, so the demigod raises his sword, calling upon Zeus to empower it, and launches it into Hades, banishing the dark god back to the underworld. After rescuing Andromeda, the pair wash up on shore and both regain consciousness soon after. With the ships for Argos approaching, Andromeda asks Perseus if he'll stay and rule the kingdom with her, as it needs a good leader, but he's a fisherman. He rides along the beach on Pegasus, then flies back to the ruined statue of Zeus where his family was killed. Once there, the god of gods congratulates him and offers him a place on Mount Olympus by his true father's side, but again Perseus refuses any offer of power and reserves himself to remain immortal. Since that's the case, Zeus doesn't want his son to be alone and returns and the movie ends.